Good evening, everyone. It's Reed here, out here in my potato garden with some solar panels and a battery. Well, one solar panel and one battery. And I wanted to make a companion video for the interview I did with Praxis and really show you guys what the hell I was talking about. And it's kind of important to sort of really show what's going on here because people probably watch that interview and are like, this sounds insane. What is he on about? Well, it sort of goes to if everything falls apart and it's the end of the world, what can you do if you find some solar panels? Well, turns out we can do something. Now here we've got ourselves a flooded lead acid battery. And this really works well with flooded batteries. Batteries that have a liquid electrolyte that can outgas and boil. That's what causes the self-regulating effect. Now I've got here a 100-watt solar panel, and this is a 100 amp hour battery. Now that is actually a fairly decent pairing, but we can also, if you want to be a little more careful, because otherwise at this sort of rate of 100 watts, we're going to have to add water fairly often to this and keep a good eye on it. If we use something smaller like a 50-watt panel, don't have to add water as much. The only catch is this thing won't be able to charge this as quickly, and you can use less power and stuff with it. It won't be able to provide you as much service. So that's your trade-off. Now, if you go much beyond, say, a 1-to-1 match of amp hours to solar power wattage, you really run the risk of charging this too far and damaging it. So about a 1-to-1 is about as high as I'll go, and it works pretty well. Just remember, you're gonna have to pop these caps off and add water to the system. Let me show you what's going on here. We've got white wire over here. This white wire comes up, and it's our negative. It goes in here under the battery. This is our negative spot. And then over here, right here, this is where the positive is gonna go in. Now I have a diode here, and I have this disconnected to show you what's going on. Now the diode causes the electricity to flow a single direction. In this case, it's gonna flow into the battery, and then through a fuse. I like fuses. They prevent fire. Not very keen on fire. Now, if you don't have a diode, you can't find or something like that, you can still push this in, connect it, run it right into the battery, and it'll still work. The only catch is at night you have to disconnect it because the solar panel actually consumes electricity at night. Weird. If it's not making electricity, it's using electricity. Strange. Kind of like how motors can be generators or motors. Sort of like that. But anyways, let me show you the voltage of our solar panel right now. We got our little voltmeter here. Let me see if I can clip that on. Save my hands a little work. I do hope that's pretty visible. I'm hoping. So, let's touch the negative. Okay, you can all make jokes. Okay, touch this here. Touch this over here. So the solar panel is at 20 volts. Now, as you notice, I'm touching this bare wire and I'm not getting shocked. One thing I love about low voltage systems, the risk of shock, minimal. Very handy. So, 20 point something volts. Now, let me show you the voltage of the battery at the present moment. I'm going to set this wire on the ground. Don't worry, there's no risk of shock or anything like that. The only path back to here is through a plastic case, so it can't really do anything. We'll just set the live wire on the ground. I know. Someone's going to be griping out there. Battery right now is 12.57 volts. It's pretty much fully charged. The battery is pretty much up there. Getting closer to 12.7 would be really, really topped off for this style of battery. But 12.56 pretty charged. Now let's plug in the solar panel and see what happens. All right, live wire. Hook it into here. Let me twist this again. Okay. Now the solar panel is connected to the battery. And let's see what we got going on. Okay, the battery is now 13.72, 73, 74, and rising. This is good. The solar panel is pushing energy into the battery and charging it. Now it should actually get to around 15 volts or whatever. And then what's going to happen is the acid that's in here is going to start boiling effectively. Now it's not like what you think on your stove, vigorous boil, water, sulfuric acid, fumes everywhere. Oh gosh, we got to run for the hills. It's going to eat us alive or something. No, what's going on is that once the battery charged up, it's going to come up to around 15 volts or so, 15.1, 15.2. And at that point, the battery is pretty much fully charged. But we still have all the energy of the solar panel going into the battery. Since this is a flooded lead acid battery, the excess energy coming in there isn't going to destroy it. What's going to happen is the excess energy is actually going to boil the electrolyte and acid. Now I know that sounds terrifying, right? Boiling acid, right? It sounds like something out of a mad scientist movie where we're about ready to dip the heroes into our acid vault and burn them alive. But not really. What's actually going on is we're engaging in a process called electrolysis. In this case, the electrolysis is taking the water, splitting it into hydrogen and oxygen, and outgassing. So the boiling is effectively all these water pulling apart of the atoms, and they make gas bubbles in the electrolyte so that it can escape in the battery. A flooded battery, since it's vented, no problem. This was a sealed battery, well, you could kind of see how that is an issue. They have to be carefully charged. These ones, old, ancient technology, flooded battery, they have some interesting advantages. This excess energy, well, it self-regulates. All you got to do is add more water to the battery and keep it topped off with water. And when we're talking water, I mean distilled water. That's what you do. The solar panel, the battery will get all the energy it needs to fully charge. The excess energy just makes gas. Ooh, real scary. Now, if we had a ton of excess energy, yes, we can damage things. But we're talking a small amount of energy. And we're not talking, crazy amounts of boiling and all that. It's enough that you can kind of hear it and such. It's not really that dangerous. Now, obviously, you don't want to do this in an enclosed space. Hydrogen gas is flammable and in the right mixture could be potentially explosive. So if you're going to be messing with these, and I highly encourage you to mess with them, they are a dead simple solar system to play with. And make a battery box or something like that so you can vent the gases off and, get them out of your house. Or just do it outside like I'm doing here, playing around with it. Now, say you actually had to scrounge these up. It's, major disaster or something like that. You grabbed a solar panel and hooked it up to your battery. Well, what can you do with it? Well, this is a car electrical system. This is effectively a 12-volt car electrical system. What can you do with a car? Well, I can charge my phones. I can run lights. I can charge flashlights. I can charge up my radio equipment. I have fan accessories. All the oddball things that you can plug into a car electrical system to do things with. There you go. And if you want, you can hook an inverter up to this and run some other things. Let me show you my little connection here for car bits. Okay, everyone. Over here, we have a set of USB ports and then standard 12-volt car electrical adapter thing. And it's got two cords and stuff connected to it. One goes over here to the negative side again, and then the other one goes to another fuse. Funny. It's almost like I'm a fan of fuses or something. And then a little connector here. Now, I don't have it connected at the moment, and I'm not sure we're going to see this. There's a little blue light here. We'll see if it comes on, but it's going to come on. I'm just not sure you're going to see it. But we plug this in. I have no idea if that's visible. I'll try to zoom in on that for everyone. Maybe you can see it. But we got a little blue light. And we can charge phones. We can plug other stuff in here. We can plug a little inverter in if we want. Anything related to a car, we can do on this. That's it. I mean, this is dead simple solar. Play around with it, get used to it, and you can see this is also something good to know. Now, if all hell breaks loose, it's the end of the world, we're running around fighting off the golden horde, fighting for every scrap, and we need at least some electricity to maintain some certain things. Like, we need to run our comms equipment, need running lights, flashlights, stuff like that. Maybe little tiny pumps, right? Well, here we go. We could scrounge up, you know, a lot of those trickle chargers people might have in their trucks to keep their batteries topped off. Get several of those panels, wire them together to get the necessary output we need. Gather up deep cycle batteries from RVs or boats maybe at the marina. If there is a marina, I'm kind of ways away from a marina. There you go. And this thing is really dumb and simple. I mean, it's KISS all the way. Keep it simple, stupid. Or as I like to say, keep it super simple. That's actually my favorite version of the acronym. And you just add water to it, and it self-regulates. It's pretty amazing. Dirt, easy to deal with. So if all hell breaks loose, we can make something to give us some electricity for things. Now, there's very little that can break on this. I mean, very little. I mean, we don't have any active electronics and stuff like that. Other thing, this is EMP proof. I mean, panels here have some pretty thick wires. It'd be pretty crazy to see some of these thick wires get burned out. And then batteries, they're just thick lead plates. No active electronics involved here. They'll survive pretty much anything. Sure, it's analog and old school and odd and strange, and you have to monitor it, but you can make it work. That's a really good point about this. And I'm going to show you guys in other videos why old school solar, old school low voltage systems have some really impressive abilities and some advantages that are worth looking into. They have a lot of drawbacks, of course, but having a small system that operates on a low 12 volts might be useful in certain areas and might be a good secondary system. So if your primary system's down for work or you got to repair something, you at least still have some lights. But I'll be covering all that in future videos, and I hope you hang around, watch them, enjoy them, and you give this a like, a thumbs up, and everything else. Hopefully this explains a little bit more about what I was talking about with Praxis, and it gives you an idea of an incredibly simple 2-component solar system that monitors and takes care of itself. Let me show you where the battery's at right now and how we're doing on it. Okay, we're reporting 14.75, right around there. Now we should start to hear the acid now, vigorously cycling, boiling, and outgassing, because we're at the excess energy stage. Let's see, let me get my ear up close to it and see what I hear. Oh yeah, it's definitely doing it. Let me get my mic off of me, get it right up on the battery, and see if you guys can hear it too. At least I hope so. I do hope you're able to hear that, the sound of the acid reacting and boiling. And when I say boiling, like I said, it's not like boiling. It's just that there's bubbles in there from electrolysis taking place. We're at the top end of the battery stage, meaning that the reaction's taken place, everything's done, and the battery's now charged. The excess energy that the panel is still producing, because there's nothing really regulating this like that, is converting the water in there into hydrogen oxygen and releasing gas. So it self-regulates on that. Now, if we hooked up other devices and we were using power right now, well, that energy wouldn't go into much making gas, it'd go into powering our devices. See how that kind of balances out? Now, of course, there's a lot more instrumentation, things we don't know what's going on. You need a meter to kind of watch and things, so on and so forth. But this is simple. Anyone can build these and play with them and see what the heck's going on. Also, great science experiment to play with the kids. Get them to play with solar. I mean, that's literally where I started, was I went on some sort of science adventure thing and we were playing with batteries, and I was like, Mom, I want to go to the hardware store and buy some lead acid batteries. What? Yes, and we're talking 6 years old. But I love solar, been playing with it for way too long. Anyways, now that we've gone back and forth on the video again, I hope this was helpful. I hope it explains more of what in the heck I was actually talking about and shows an incredibly simple solar system that you can play with and scrounge together when SHTF engulfs the world. Take care, everyone. This is Reed, out for now.